thanks to members of the media for joining us today. We have Director of Athletics Jeff Bourne joining us to speak to JMU's search for a head football coach. Jeff will make an opening statement, and then open it up for questions. We do want to let all members of the media know this will be the last media availability with Jeff until a head coach is hired. So any questions you have, please make sure to get them in today.
Thanks, Kevin. Afternoon. On Wednesday evening, I was informed by Coach Everett Withers that he'd accepted a position at Texas State University. We were looking forward to the 2016 season under Everett's leadership, but we do wish both he and his family much success and happiness in San Marcos. Most importantly this year, we remain excited about the prospects of this football team and where we're going to go in the years ahead. Much as we've done in the past, we're going to use Bill Carr from Carr Sports Consulting to help us through the search process. Bill's done a great job for us, and I know given the time frame that we've got right now, which is tight, we feel very confident about finding our next coach. During this transition, though, it's important to recognize our most important issue is the well-being of our student athletes and our prospective student athletes. And to that end, we are bringing back John Bowers, who is going to be on our staff and serve in the role of player personnel, and he's going to assist us through this transition. John has a great rapport with the young men on our team. He's a JMU graduate. He understands the JMU campus, and I think he'll do a fantastic job with both our current student athletes and communicating with those student athletes who are currently prospects. As a whole, the important thing to realize is that the JMU football program is in an excellent place. We are in a great community. We have tremendous support. We're going to use this opportunity to galvanize the strength of the JMU community and the JMU nation going forward, and to look forward to a new era with a new head coach. Right now, I'm not at liberty to obviously talk about potential candidates, which I'm sure some of you might have a question or two about, but I will be happy to answer any other questions that you might have pertaining to the search.
When was the team informed of this decision?
Last evening, they were informed. Many of you know John Stryker. John's Everett's administrative guy, and he understand that he notified the student athletes early evening last night. And that, of course, started the chain of, I believe, events both with Texas State as well as the release from James Madison.
What about potential recruits? Did Coach Bowers reach out to them, or is that in the process now?
Well, he hasn't yet, but keep in mind we've still got a staff out there recruiting right now. I mean, there are coaches on the road today still recruiting for JMU that are under contract with us. So our goal is to honestly make sure that we're protecting those offers that we've extended and those that are documented. And we want to have those young men be a part of the JMU family next year.
First, can you just kind of talk about John Byers a little bit more and kind of what made you decide to do that, bring him back?
Well, John, again, John has a very good rapport with the student athletes. And at the time that he left, there was a lot of support for him. As you can imagine, in a time like this, transition's a trying time. And it's stressful, and students are worried about their academic work as well as what's going on and what's their future look like. I think John is a seasoned coach. He's been around that. They relate well to him. And again, I think the fact that he's a JMU product helps because he understands the JMU community and how we work here. And I think he's going to be a real benefit to us.
With signing day coming up, is that a big goal to kind of get this done before signing day?
Well, sure. I mean, recruiting is critical right now. And we all know that starting on the 15th, the next 3 weekends are large recruiting weekends for us. And obviously it benefit us to move the search along as quickly as possible, but yet also being diligent to make sure that we're thorough and we end up with the right candidate.
What is John's actual role? I mean, what is what was his title again? You said it. What was it, director?
His new role is Director of Player Personnel.
Okay.
For lack of a better term, he's going to be the go-between right now. He's going to be that voice and be able to offer guidance to it. We've got a lot going on in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, we're actively recruiting. We've got a football banquet on Saturday night, a week away. So there's a lot that has to happen. And our goal is to make sure that the young men that are in our program are treated very well and that they're supported. And I think especially in times of transition, it's tough to find that person that can do that. But again, I feel very confident with John's ability.
Does he have an interim tag, or is that?
That's his interim
the
tag.
Interim
Yeah,
tag.
and
Okay.
Of course, he'll be part of the new coaching staff for a year. We've made a year commitment to him, and we'll see what happens after the new coach is on board.
Did you reach out to him? Was that one of the
We
first
did.
calls you made? I guess was to him.
I reached out to him a while after this announcement last evening.
Gotcha.
Again, keeping in mind that the student-athlete well-being issue is a major focus for us.
Is there any awkwardness having been let go recently from this school?
John loves JMU, and he's going to love being back here with our kids, so it's good.
Just want to follow up. I guess you've been through this 2 years ago. Is this a better job? Is it more attractive? Is it up and down better than when ever got here?
I think it's a better job, no doubt. I mean, I think you've gone through 2 seasons with 9 wins. The facilities are surprisingly better. They were good, but they're even better now, thanks to the help and support of a group of folks that have really stood behind this program over the last couple of years and helped us. A couple of them are in the room today, but it makes a big difference when you've got that type of support. And then I think when you look at the program overall, college game day being on your campus doesn't get much better than that. So when I say we're in a good place, it's a good place, but you can document and say why.
How does the timing of all this make it that much more challenging to find your next head coach?
It's always challenging, but right now the window's narrow. We talked about, National Signing Day, 1st of February. You're cognizant of the fact that your recruits are probably being talked to by other institutions, so you want to move the process as quickly as you can, but also you want to be thorough. I mean, this is a very, very important search. They're all important, but this one right now is very important, and we're going to approach it the same as we did before. We'll end up with an excellent candidate. We are a very, very attractive institution, and this is a very attractive job for a head coach.
With Coach Withers being a finalist at East Carolina last month, can we assume that you would begin a search at that point? And did this give you a head start on this announcement that came last night?
You're so intuitive. The answer to that is yes. When you're an athletic director, you have to always be prepared. And I think the important thing to realize here is that the fact that we've hired Bill Carr doesn't say we're relying on Bill Carr to do our search. We determine who those candidates are. Where a search firm is helpful to you is on the mechanical logistics, receiving applications, lining up the interview process, doing a lot of the mechanical work. Now, certainly they're there to provide names, but the work has been done. And in our case, it started back in the fall. When we had college game day here, I started working with Bill Carr because I thought, you know what? When you do what I do, it's likely you could lose your coach. So you have to be prepared. And we do that at all levels, but certainly on this one, we were well prepared had East Carolina come along. We're well prepared now.
Can you give us an insight into the conversation you had with Withers, how that went down, and do you give any reason that you might be able to share?
I won't go and answer questions for Everett about why he was looking for another job, but I think Coach Withers is a very good football coach. He has a very bright future. I don't think there was anybody on staff that when he came here said, he's probably a guy, if he has success, is going to be looking at that next level. Certainly it was that way with schools contacting him and the process that he'd already been through. You have to expect some of that. And quite honestly, if you don't, you've probably got a problem with your program. You want your coaches to be able to move on. It's tough, though, in this scenario where he was here 2 years. I feel for our student athletes, it's tough having turnover and not having continuity maybe at your coaching position, which is challenging. But at the same time, I think this is Everett's path. We're happy for him. It's a good move.
How much do you emphasize longevity when you're looking for potential candidates, knowing that this is also a great stepping stone for other opportunities?
I want them to come and stay forever and be incredibly successful. But that's not realistic. You'd like to think, what's the ideal window? 3, 4, 5 years. 4 or 5 years would be great. This is strange. Think about what happened this year in the industry. There are more coaching jobs available this year than there have been in years. And so when you're at our level and you start to see that, it doesn't take long for the light to go on to say there's going to be some opportunity probably for your coach. And when we saw the openings that started even really prior to the season ending, we figured there was going to be a number of openings.
You spoke about what's coming up with recruiting. How much more challenging does that make you, knowing you're trying to connect with coaches who are out there trying to recruit for their current jobs?
It is. It's a challenge, but keep in mind, I really believe this, this is one of the best jobs in the country at FCS. When a coach gets an opportunity to interview for this job, they'll find a way to get to the interview. They'll be there. We're very fortunate. We're very blessed at JMU to have a great program and one that people want to be a part of, especially at that level. And again, that starts across the board. It starts with support, staff, your donors, your fans, and the people that stand behind you every day and make things happen. Because this is one position, but it takes the entire department and our donors and fans to make it happen. That stadium needs to be full for that coach to be successful too, which helps.
I know that obviously you want to get this done quickly, but you also want to make the right decision. Could you give us an idea of how long the process might take at all?
I'm not going to comment on that specifically, only because it's so dependent upon, to the point, availability. You've got to make sure that people are available when you can meet with them. But I will tell you, we'll move quickly, but we'll be thorough. And I feel really good about where we are right now. And I have felt that way through the fall. I mean, you're constantly getting a barometer on people interested in your program, even when you don't have an opening. But in the last day, my phone locks down with people trying to say, yeah, I'm interested in being a JMU Duke, so it's a good thing.
Can you speak to about you said the current coaches are on the road recruiting, what maybe their status will be, and in bringing in a new coach, would it make sense to bring a coach who can bring a staff with him to speed up the recruiting process?
That's possible. What I would say is that Everett has not finally selected his staff yet for Texas, but he's looking. And I think in the next 2 or 3 days, he will have selected the coaches that he wants to take with him. We're going to obviously make a hire, and that new coach will have full range to hire whoever they want. I would hope that they would interview some of the candidates that are here, but that's their prerogative. They're like everybody else. They're more acutely aware what the timeline is for recruiting than we are, and they realize the pressure that comes with that and what it means to you going forward. So I'm sure they'll move quickly.
Yeah, 2 years ago you said you were hiring an FCS coach. I think you made that very clear. Has that changed? I mean, where are you guys looking at in terms of maybe profile for this guy?
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's changed a whole lot from 2 years ago. What I would say is you hire a great coach, somebody that that can win. One of the best things that can happen for JMU and JMU's future is to ensure that we are winning a lot of games, going deep into the playoffs in the FCS, and hopefully winning a national championship at FCS. That's what brings recognition to your program. And when you look at programs that have done this consistently, look at what North Dakota's done. They lost a coach, they reloaded, they kept a good coaching staff in place, and they're there knocking at the door again this year. And I think that has to be the plan for JMU. If we do that, then we're going to have a lot of other options going forward as we're considered by different conferences.
Do you get a sense Withers was frustrated at all with the movement on that front with FBS and anything involved in that stuff?
It's hard to tell. I mean, it's hard to tell. Again, I look at it more of an opportunity. If you're a coach, where do you get that next opportunity? And if the next opportunity is an FBS opportunity, you take advantage of what you can. Because there's no guarantees in this business from year to year. You just don't know. And he's had 2 great years. Again, a College Game Day, the recognition from that. His stock's high. So I think I really can't comment on it more than that.
Yeah, when you're interviewing guys, what are you telling them about that front in FBS and whatever could could come down the road, what do you communicate to that guy?
Well, much like we have all along. I mean, it takes openings. It takes an opportunity to be there. We continually are in the process of being out front with what we do. I've told you before that I talk to conference commissioners on a frequent basis to know where they are and what's going on at national level. Again, our goal is to hire somebody that does right by our student athletes, student athlete well-being, relates well to our constituency, understands the JMU culture, and somebody that can go out there and be successful on that field competitively and make sure our kids are doing exceptionally well in the classroom. You have that in place, you have that type of person, the system kind of takes care of itself.
When the cost of attendance stuff came up last year and how that related to you guys, and I think you had the wait and see approach, do you think maybe that hurt you with Withers at all, and maybe how he kind
I
of
don't
looked at
think
this
so,
job?
because when you look at other programs, other FCS programs across the country, there are not a lot of them that have decided to do that yet. It doesn't mean that they won't have to at some future point. But right now, I don't think that that's a game stopper, because we've not said we're not going to do it. We've just said that we're not doing it right now. And there's some legislation that's out there right now. It came out in the last couple of days that could significantly change the way cost of attendance is applied at respective institutions. So I'd like to think that we're moving forward intelligently and diligently and making good decisions, but not being forced into one. I'm not naive. I understand recruiting and the impact of that, and that's why I said going down the road, it may be something that we decide to do, but we're just not at that point right now.
Yeah, it was pretty public last night. You talked about recruiting. That remind me. How do you feel about Withers already bringing some of the 2016 guys to Texas State? Does that touch a nerve at all with you, or is that just kind of how this goes?
Sure, I'd love to see them stay at JMU. They were coached or they were recruited at JMU, and they'd have a fantastic career here at JMU, and they love their experience. It's part of the world. It's how it works. You know, you like to think sometimes that they'll all stay, but you know they won't. It's the world we live in.
I was going to ask you one more here. Having been in this situation just 2 years ago, can you explain how maybe the coaching landscape has maybe changed or is similar? I mean, is it the same candidates? Are the same names coming up here?
No, not really. A few, but I won't go into a lot of that in terms of mentioning names like I mentioned earlier. But I will tell you there are a lot of extremely qualified candidates out there that, in my opinion, are ready to be head coaches. And when you look at the environment here at JMU and what we have, there's a lot of interest. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.